You can choose to install Python packages within your regular environment or within a virtual environment sandbox. When would you choose the virtual environment? In order to execute and run code on TensorFlow, you need to have it set up and installed on your machine. TensorFlow libraries in Python require you to have Python installed, so make sure you have some version of Python set up. I have version 2.7.10. So I'm running TensorFlow libraries with Python 2. If you're running with Python 3, that's fine as well. There might be some differences in the code that you write, so you have to be aware of that upfront. The instructions for how you can download and install TensorFlow libraries are available on the TensorFlow site. So go ahead, navigate there. It has instructions for all of the platforms that you might be using. In order to work comfortably with TensorFlow, you need to have some basic programming knowledge in Python. This course assumes that and will not be providing basic Python explanations. Just a heads up for you. TensorFlow is currently supported on a few basic platforms: Mac OS El Capitan or later, Ubuntu 14.04 or later, Windows 7 or later. If you're using a version other than these, you might find that things may not work exactly right and you may not find support for it to get it to work. I'm running my examples on a Mac machine, so I'm going to go ahead and click installing TensorFlow on Mac OS. Choose the operating system which works for you. Things should be very similar and should be straightforward. It so happens that there are a variety of ways that you can get TensorFlow set up on your Mac using a virtual environment, which is a sandbox within which you run TensorFlow, using pip install, Docker containers, or installing from sources. Installing from sources, of course, very advanced. That's when you actually want to compile the TensorFlow code yourself and maybe edit the sources to perform some optimizations. We'll show you how you can run TensorFlow within a sandbox, though the later programs will show you how to run TensorFlow using the Jupyter IPython notebook, which is very useful to see what's going on at every step. And at the very end of this course, we'll show you how you run TensorFlow on the Google Cloud platform. Here are the instructions. Get started by installing pip and setting up your virtual environment. The command to create a virtual environment is a little different based on whether you're using Python 2.7 or Python 3.x. I'm going to switch over to the terminal window on my Macintosh and call sudo easy install pip to get pip set up on my machine. If you've worked with Python, pip should be very familiar to you. This is the package manager in Python, which is an easy way for you to get libraries installed on your machine. I'm then going to upgrade my pip installation to make sure I have the latest version. Sudo pip install upgrade pip. I have pip 9.0.1 along with Python 2.7. Once I have pip installed on my machine, I can now use pip to install the virtual environment. The virtual environment is nothing but a sandbox within which you can run TensorFlow. You can choose to run TensorFlow outside the sandbox as well. It's totally up to you. This virtual environment is optional. But if you have other Python programs running and you don't want TensorFlow to interfere with them, this is a good option. Again, not really needed. You can just go ahead, not use the virtual environment, and install TensorFlow. Use the virtual environment to set up the other packages that it requires. Once you've done this, you'll get a completed message. Setup tools, pip, wheel, and other packages have been activated and set up within your virtual environment. You're now ready to activate this virtual environment, which you do by calling the activate command within your bin directory. Now, once I've activated my virtual environment, I'm going to go ahead and install the TensorFlow package within my virtual environment. This is just to show you it's possible. And this is a way you can install TensorFlow without disturbing the other Python packages in your system. Of course, now if you're going to be using TensorFlow a lot and it's a part of your standard packages, I recommend doing away with the virtual environment altogether and just going ahead and installing TensorFlow. You don't need to set up the virtual environment at all. It's totally up to you. Once the installation of the TensorFlow libraries is complete, go ahead and start the Python shell, which you'll do by simply typing Python on your screen. Once you enter the interactive shell, we're ready to write our Hello World program in TensorFlow. Start off by importing the TensorFlow libraries and aliasing them as TF. This is the standard, and you'll find it in all upcoming programs. If the import is successful, that means your TensorFlow libraries have been referenced correctly. Go ahead and create a constant in TensorFlow, tf.constant, which holds the value hello TensorFlow world. Assign it to the variable hello. All code within TensorFlow has to execute within the context of something called a session. A session basically looks at the TensorFlow program, which is set up in the form of a computation graph, and then executes it in parallel across multiple machines if that's how you've configured it. You don't need to know more about what a session is right now. We'll cover it in detail in this course. Instantiate a session though by calling tf.session. Evaluate and execute your constant by calling session.run and passing it hello, and print the result out to screen. And that's it. You're set up with TensorFlow on your machine. If you want your Python packages and installations to only be set up within a sandbox, and you don't want your remaining Python programs or your remaining Python environment to be affected by these packages, you would choose virtual env. That said, TensorFlow and Jupyter IPython notebooks are perfectly benign, and I think you could choose to install it without the virtual environment. I've just given you an example of how you can use it within virtual env.